goes. There he goes. You see the blades start to pitch up like that? A lot of weight on those wings. It's not going to blow up. You don't have to hold your...
No, I'm cold. I'm trying to block the wind.
And away we go. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick video here as I walk around here. As everybody may or may not know, that Canada is burning. They got wildfires up there. I don't envy those guys at all. But they are smoking us out. Now, I'm going to point this at the sun. Where is the sun? Right there. You can barely see it. It's red. That's from the smoke. There is no moisture in the air. This is all smoke from the Canadian wildfires. Now I'm on the west coast of New Jersey. New Jersey's technically a peninsula. It's got the Delaware River to the west and the ocean to the east. But nobody calls New Jersey a peninsula, but it is. And anyway, yeah. Oh, look at the sun now. I'm going to try and zoom in on that thing. Come on. There's a cloud, and there's actually a cloud up there that is causing the sun to now be covered. Just a sliver of it. Probably still getting enough radiation. It's not filtering it all out. So the sun just disappeared now. I'm going to show y'all my wheat. I was a little bit worried about the wheat. Well, let me finish with the... I'll finish with the smoke from Canada. So the smoke from Canada is actually dropping our temperature. It's quite cool right now. It was 80 degrees earlier, and then the smoke moved in, and it's cooled off. I don't imagine it's even 65 degrees out there right now, or out here right now. So... yeah, so that's a plus for the drought that we're in. We are in a major drought. The last rain we had was 1.9 inches of rain, and that 1.9 inches of rain, that was on the 1st of May. It is now the 6th, June 6th. It is the day that we invaded France 79 years ago today. Has nothing to do with Pride Month. Pride Month is a joke, in my opinion. If you're a homosexual, God bless you. You know, you've got a long road to hoe yourself, and we don't need to be, you know, encouraging people to just go out and be flamboyant and stupid. But whatever. I do support the remaining troops that invaded Normandy and Omaha and the other Juneau. What's the other one? Is there another one? 3 beaches or 4? I think it was Omaha, Juneau, and yeah, it was well, whatever it was. The beaches in France. So anyways, I figured I would go out and show you my wheat. I do have some rye that's gotten in here. It'll never be seen in the bin. If you take it to the mill and they see that rye, they're not going to see that rye. Anyway, so you can see down deep that the lower leaves of this have turned yellow from the drought. It's drought stress. And a week ago, I was really worried that I wasn't going to have wheat because these heads were just not filling in at all. Matter of fact, I'm still a little worried, but we do have some rain in the forecast, and we are in early dough stage. If you're a non-farmer and you don't know what that is, that's early dough. Late milk, early dough. It goes in milk stage, which was about a week ago. Then late milk, early dough, then dough stage, then it starts to, dry out, firm up, and become the product that we're looking for, which is wheat. I think my wheat looks awesome. I'm sorry if you don't. I just think it looks awesome. It is up to my belly button. I am 6 feet tall. So at my belly button, it is, it is what it is. Now you can see that there's some other grasses. That's bluegrass, that wispy grass that you can see out in the other field and in the corners here. That's something that we deal with. We have dealt with and are going to continue to deal with. But this is a bearded variety, and obviously there's non-bearded in here as well. I'm actually probably going to save some of this seed. I can clean the rye out, I think, with my cleaner, but I'm going to save some of the seed and use it for cover crop, not for grain. But I'm actually going to have a wheat crop. I'm pretty pleased with what I'm seeing there. You can see I squeeze it and it pops out of there. It's very delicious. It's got a sweet taste to it. It's beautiful. I got 350 acres or more of this, 350 to 360 acres of wheat that I'm going to be harvesting. And hopefully, if we get the rain that I'm expecting in about a week, if we get rain by this weekend, a week after that, I'm going to have to come out and look and see when this right here at the neck, right about there, once that turns brown, I'm going to come out with glyphosate and I'm going to kill it all. And that's what they call harvest aid, glyphosate harvest aid, and I can combine it, and then I can get my beans planted and that remainder of that corn. The corn that I have to plant right now, I've got some replant acres, about 50, 110, 170 acres, 45, 70, 170, so 30, 40, 210 acres of replant. I figured it up now. It's 210 acres of replant. All right, so I'm looking at corn. Yes, that's corn. You can see the rows. It's all no-till through a cover crop. Not a great cover crop, but it is a cover crop nonetheless. And you can see the rows as we go down there. This corn, to me, looks really quite good. I'm going to go to the next field. I do have a spray issue. I was having problems with my sprayer plugging up the screens. So I was having an issue, but I think I'll be all right. I could really use some rain, I could tell you that right now. Rain would be wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, it is. It's good. Looks good. You just keep walking down through these fields. They look okay. All right. Last year this corn was mediocre. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was just mediocre. My problem on some of this stuff is where I went through this thick grass, and you can't see it too good because of the grass, but there's corn in there. It'll be all right. Just semi-flex ears. It'll be fine. I'm not going to put any, I'm not coming to straighten this up. That's fine. But yeah, wow, they look good. Looks good. Everything that is white out here, if you see something white because of this smoke, this is all smoke. It's the air quality here is terrible. And I say terrible, I mean it's terrible. Let's take a look. We'll just keep walking back. I got more fields over here. I'm kind of pleased with this. No deer damage. None whatsoever. I was afraid the geese were going to come and land on this because them bastards come everywhere. Yeah. I've got, I don't know. We need rain. I could dig down 6 inches and it'll be parched clear down there. But I did dig up some of these roots, and the roots have so many hairy roots on them that they're about a 3/4 of an inch ball of fine hairy root around each and every large root. So these plants are really working hard to find every bit of nutrient, nitrogen, and water that it can find. So here's the next field. I think there was one of these spots I forgot I didn't turn the vacuum on fast enough, but I think it looks good. Spacing looks okay, not perfect, but looks okay. I'm all right with that. And these grasses that don't look like they're dead, they're dead. They just don't realize it yet. I'm gonna go through this fence line. These old fence lines used to be just a fence. Here's an old furrow from the plow, and then it gets wider and wider and wider over the years. If I owned this property, I would just push them out with a 955 or something. These are some of the more concerning fields because of the grass cover. But I really don't think I'm going to have too much of an issue. It just dried it out terribly. Yeah, I'm not happy with this one. I'm not happy with this one. But if you look down in there, you see you can't see it from above, but they are there. It just needs rain. It just needs rain. I mean, if I had the rain, this stuff would explode up through here, and there would be no issues whatsoever. Life would be good, and I'd be a whole lot more confident in what I'm going to get out of it. There's a lot of people probably watching and saying, oh my God, what a mess. It's not a mess. If you get down and you look real close, you can see the plants. I mean, there, and they're spaced out really nice. So, no problems here. You look out on the highway and it looks like shit. But when we do finally get these rains, they will 100% be where they belong. Now here's a skipper. This is a skipper in my herbicide. Apparently I flipped off one of those damn one of the boom sections, and I did that. It's a good gauge. And yeah, there's Rose here. More skips because it is no-till into cover, and this was a little bit damper when I did it, so it just takes more seed to make this successful, in my opinion. So if you're looking for a 30,000 plant population, you really need to be doing 32, 33,000. You know, it's just the way it is. And if it would have continued to rain in a timely fashion, it would be just fine. This smoke isn't helping anybody or anything. Now, why is there water there? It hasn't rained in a month. This field here has always been a concern of mine. I don't know why, but it's fine. I can see it. You can see them. Yeah, we're good. We're good. You can see those rows. You can see these rows. It's fine. Didn't turn the vacuum on right away. Duh. But I did there. And you can see where I turned the vacuum on. It's like, bang! There it goes. Bam! So, there it is. And I'm going to walk over to where we're parked. And I'm going to call this good. I'm going to call this good. If we start getting the rain that we want, it won't be good. It'll be great. And life will be good. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. This is an old double fence row right here. You can see that it was an old double fence row there and there. And they ran the cows down to the back pastures. There's a KB7 International sitting in the bushes there. And there's Teresa's car. So here is a wet spot in the field. Right here. I mean, it was wet. I did plant it. You can see where I kind of mudded it in. Oh, even though I mudded it in. Look at that, there's a seed down in that crack. This won't amount to anything because of the mud. It might, these roots might allow it to drain out better, but yeah. This is typical no-till in an untypical year with the amount of rainfall that we've had. It's been very, very dry, very, very dry. And if we don't get rain, honestly, if we do not get rain, this could be just a disaster for us. Disaster for us. So, and to anybody out there that is saying, what are you worried about? You've got that cash protection insurance policy. No, I don't. I don't take out crop insurance. There's a reason for that. I'm a very proud individual. Yes, it's a risk, but anytime I ever had a good crop of corn and beans, the crop insurance bill was more than what I got on a bad year. So I remember writing a check out for like $18,000 for crop insurance, and then I had a bad year and they wrote me a check out for like $9,000. So wasn't that something? So the only good part was that I did have some prevented planting when I had crop insurance, and they paid the prevented planting price, which was fine. But yeah, look at this stuff. Anyway, it just never equaled out for me. There's a lot of guys that are like, well, yeah, that's stupid. It's not stupid. Push a pencil every once in a while. You might figure some stuff out. And there's the sun. If you can see it, it's covered by smoke. All right, so I'm back to the corn planter a little bit. I do have some welding that I have to do, and I'm going to address just a couple of small things here. Now, one thing that I'd like to address with farming business, or the business of farming, and young people that are aspiring to be farmers or whatnot. If you're watching the larger farming channels, you're getting a false sense of reality. I hate to say it like this, but it's a false sense of reality to watch the Larson Farms, even Welkers. I like Welkers a lot. I like all these guys. You know, I like what they put out there, but I'm old. I'm 51 in July. I'm old enough to know that when you're 20, 18, 19, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 to 25 years old, you're looking at new pieces of equipment and saying, I want that, I want that, I want that. The reality is, do you need it? Do you need it? Not only do you need it, but will it make me money? That's the best thing. So with that being said, of course, I've had new pieces of equipment. I've never bought a brand new tractor, but I buy good used tractors, and I've never bought a new corn planter, but I've bought, in my opinion, good used corn planters. This thing here was a bit big for my operation. I'd have been much happier probably with a 16 row, but the reason I went with 24 is because I can use a 4 row, a 6 row, an 8 row, or 12 row, or even whatever the biggest ones they've got, and still be able to match everything, match up the way I'd like them to match up. So yeah, that's really why I went with a 24 row. I'd have settled for a 16 and then bought an 8 row head or whatever, but if you got a 12 row head, then you can't, it just doesn't, and you'll have that odd row. But whatever, that's just me. But as far as young kids are concerned, young folks getting into farming, it's a goal to have to buy brand new equipment, but the reality is you're still getting the same price for your grain that you are with an older piece of equipment. I'll be 51. I don't, the new corn planter phase in my life, that's left me. I just don't need it. I don't care for it. The new combine phase of my life, don't need it. It's not necessary. You can buy really good used equipment for a fraction of the cost of a brand new one. Everybody likes to open the door to a brand new combine tractor or whatever and get inside and be like, freshness, you know? But is it really worth the money? Let somebody else take that hit. That's all there is to it. Those are wise words from one lonely farmer. So with this corn planter, yeah, it had an oil leak. I fixed that. It had a cylinder leak. I fixed that. It has a leaky tire. I'm going to fix that. It's just got its quirks and its differences that you don't get with a brand new piece of equipment. But the funny thing is, look at this. Brand new paint. Well, where did that come from? That came from Shoop's, because John Deere doesn't want to support this anymore, but there are other companies out there that do support this particular planter for a fraction of the cost that you would have to pay from the parent company or the original manufacturer. Will it do as good a job as a brand new planter? Yes. Yes, it will. If it's maintained properly, yes, it will. Don't let these guys fool you into thinking that, you know, the newer the machine, the better stand you're going to have. If it is set up correctly and has parts within their specs, you know, within their worn specs, you're fine. You'll be fine. The fancy new green paint comes in a can. You can paint it if you want. You don't have to. You can go out there with the biggest, rustiest piece of shit you can find and plant picket fence stands if you take your time and do the due diligence. Now, there are problems with this corn planter that I cannot correct, like this nonsense here. All right, look, there's a 5/8 inch nut stuck in there, welded fast. Why is that? Well, that 5/8 inch nut is taking up the slack from an obsolete piece, a part. There's a part that's supposed to clip in here or bolt on here that actually makes this yoke have more down pressure. I didn't have it at first. It cost me money. It caused me problems. These are learning curves, things that you need to learn. No-till coulters, don't put them on. They take the pressure off of the front. If you're going to no-till with the openers. The machine is heavy enough, it'll put it down in there. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that young folks don't understand about agriculture when it comes to new paint. Yeah, it's nice to go out and even older guys. I mean, you get to my age, you're like, you know, what the fuck do I need a new thing for? This thing's worked perfectly fine. I'll just rebuild it. Yeah, it takes time. Yeah, it takes money. But it's a fraction of the cost. And you can actually put more money in your pocket and buy a house, a rental house in town that you can rent out. And then it's perpetual income. So when you get to 65, 70 years old, you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to hang up my hat on the farm and I'll cut the farm in half because I have this perpetual income that I'll have. And then when you get 75 years old, you sell one of those houses and you take a nice vacation and put the rest of that money to work for you in a mutual fund or something like that, you know, along with other investments that you've had. Iron is really a bad investment. The minute you pull it off the lot, it depreciates. It really does. It depreciates. You want to buy something that you know, appreciates in value? I don't know. I have no idea. It's up to you. A house. Buy a house. Rent it out. Every year that house is producing you, I don't know, $15,000. If it costs you $7,500 that year to maintain and pay the taxes on that house, you got $7,500. Do that with 10 different houses, you got $75,000 a year of perpetual income, and you're golden. You're golden. All right, so now she's good as new. I welded that with a 7018 on DC minus, and it'll hold just fine. But I did realize something, that pin obviously has to be greased at some point, right? Well, there's a grease zerk up inside that hole on each side. So, no, I did not cancel. Stupid phone. Anyway, yeah, so there it is. Now, if you thought that this corn planter was junk, scrap, needed to go down the road, there it is, ready to go to the field. That was the last thing that I had to do structurally to this thing to get her back in the field. The other issue that I have is that tire, which is no big deal. I'll fix that up in about 5 minutes. Just put some air into it and tighten up the nut. I may pull it off of there. I'm not sure, but whatever. Either way, I'm going to get it fixed. And that'll be that. Maybe I'll run it up on a 6x6 and take the tire off, let the air out, and tighten it, because the nut on the back side, it can just be a real pain in the ass. These little stubs. Where is that little stub? Right here. See this little stub right here? there's no nut on this side. It's on the opposite side. So I actually have to take that off of there. That's where it's leaking. I know it's leaking there because we detected that the other day. I am pretty much, I mean, if I don't plant another acre of corn, I'll be fine. It's just a matter of, I want to finish up. I got the seed bought, the herbicides applied, everything's ready to go. I just need to do this stuff, man. I want to get done. I want this year to be really good. And it's not setting out to be the best year in the world, but it's going to be a year for sure. So what did we do today? Replant. Yeah, we're back to replanting. I hate replanting. So I made the executive decision to replant this before the rain. We're supposed to get rain this weekend. It is so dry out there that the seed will sit down there below the surface for a while. I took the VT out yesterday and I ran down and back a couple of times just to see what it would do to the soil, and this is what it did. I mean, it pulverized it, turned it into this mess right here. It's nothing but dust down. That's a good 4 inches to the bottom of the VT. So there is some moisture there. The seed that I put in the ground for the initial plant, I'm gonna show you what I got here. Right? Why does that look like I didn't replant that? Oh, I did. Oh, all right, whatever. That's just neither here nor there. For some reason, you know, it's replanted. I went right down the same row. Right here. I mean, I did. I did. I went right down the same row, unless I missed this row. No, I guess I was a little bit off. So here it is. There's the moisture. I don't see any seed in there, but it is in here. I know it's in here. I know it's in here. So what happened with the original, there it is. There's my slot. There's my slot. The original planting is quite, there's the seed, okay? So we're right where we want to be, 2 1/4. Right there, perfect. Everything is going well. I'm going to show you the planter a little bit as to what I did to that. What I did to that to make it penetrate this, I had some issues that I did not address in the beginning of the season, which I'm addressed now, and everything is just fine. And the GPS ran that sucker right down there, pretty much destroying, you know, it makes it non-viable. But that's the root system to that plant right there. It's destroyed that. What happened with here in the heavy cover crop, that heavy cover crop pulled all the moisture out of the ground, and I actually had suicide germination. I could dig up the seeds that were for the first planting, and they're nothing but, they're mush. They died. They died. They just couldn't come up. Some of them couldn't come up because they accordioned under the soil because it became rock hard because I planted it about a day too early. If you go across the road, it was 15 hours later. I planted that farm in the afternoon, and I planted this one the evening before in the dark. I planted it in the dark, but that one over there I planted it the next afternoon, so it was probably like 14, 16 hours later I planted that one, and that all came up just fine. But this here, too wet, dried out too fast, and caused it to be a problem. So I've replanted. What are you thinking? Oh, you want a kiss? You waited for a kiss. Holy smokes. The love is still alive, baby. Huh? You need water, Mommy's. You gotta be careful. Mom will step on the brake.
No, I wouldn't do that.
She wouldn't do that. Daddy did, and he got hurt. So anyway, I'm gonna show you what I did. I have already showed you what I did, but I'm quite pleased with the result. I'll put these nuts under there, and that raised that up enough. There was supposed to be a little thing that goes in there. I don't think it was quite as high as what that one is, but that took that much slack out of there. and it actually puts enough downforce onto the ground that it's cutting in the way it's supposed to. I'm pleased. I'm quite pleased with that. I do have a lid here that needs some repair. I'm going to end up buying a couple of lids. They fell off. I ran them over, and I had to drill holes in them. I put bungee cords on because I hate looking for lids. I guess if I had the center fill system, I wouldn't have to worry about that. But anyway, tomorrow I'm going to do some more replanting and possibly initial planting, or I'm just going to go spray. I do have some spraying that needs to be done yet. And that's that. So, I hope y'all are watching. Trial and error in farming is pretty common. And you see the smoke out there? That's a smoke from Nova Scotia. That's what they told me, it was Nova Scotia. But yeah, it's we're doing okay. We are doing okay. I'm actually kind of happy. The majority of the corn looks really good, like you saw probably earlier in this video. Some of it's a little sketchy, but I can deal with sketchy looking corn. I can't deal with disastrous corn. And we are supposed to get into wetter weather a little later on in the month. So all it's got to do is be there for when it decides to rain, and it's going to come up. But that knocked out, what, 50 acres of ground that I had to plant. I just planted my one set of 50 acres. And next week I'm just going to scout the next couple of weeks. I've got until about the 20th to really get this in. I do have to get going on wheat though, because wheat is coming like crazy. We're going to be coming on like crazy. We do have a lot of wheat that needs to get sprayed and then harvested. And I need to order a couple of parts for my combine. I think I'm going to put new rotor bars on, or rasp bars for the combine. I'm going to put new ones on. I can get those from a aftermarket. I think Sloan or something, maybe Shoots will have those. But I'm going to buy those because wheat needs to really have sharp rotor bars on it. And we'll do that. And anyway, yeah. Woo-wee. We got people that do not like big ass corn planters going down the road. I don't mind. But anyways, I'm going to shut this off because I got to make a corner.